Good afternoon. We are going to start our stretch class. We're going to give it a couple moments here. Today, if you have a stretch belt, you can use your stretch belt. If you do not have a stretch belt, then you can use a long bath towel or beach towel. If you have a yoga block, you may want to bring your yoga block. Hi, Pradeep. Hi, Lori. We're going to give it a couple minutes here, maybe 1 minute, to see if we have any others log on. For stretch class today, if you have a stretch belt, you can use a stretch belt, you can use an actual dress belt, or you can use a long beach towel or a bath towel as your assistance. I have my yoga block loaned out to a client, so I actually will be using a book to demonstrate, so you can also use a book. If you know that you're really tight today, a book will come in handy for any of the poses if they're just maybe a little too deep. How's the music? Is the waves a little too loud? As long as it's kind of a background noise and not overpowering me, because I do not want to yell at you all in class today. How's the waves, Kayla? Tell me if it's too loud. Trying a different scenery today. I'm getting bored with my other room. All right, guys. We're going to start seated on our bottom today. So we'll start here in a seated position, sitting up nice and tall. Make sure that your neck is nice and long. So from the side, it looks like this. Pull those shoulders down your back. Don't hunch over. Think about a nice long line from the top of your head all the way to the tailbone. We're going to start with a few neck stretches. In our E-sessions, a lot of people have been complaining of neck pain and shoulder pain, some even lower back and mid-back discomfort. And a lot of times when we move to a remote setting with our laptops and our mouse, we tend to sit improperly. So because we're away from our desk, or sometimes our desk is just different. So sitting up nice and tall, let's all take one deep breath in. Exhale all the way out. Let those shoulders fall to the side, away from the ears. I want you to take your left middle finger. We're going to place it on the right side of the forehead and gently pull our head towards the left. If you're comfortable with doing this, you can place your right hand back behind you, allowing that right shoulder to fall even a little further away from the ear. We're going to do 2 more breaths just like this. 1 more breath for me. And release. Slowly release that head. Kind of move it around in a yes or no direction. Bring that arm back around to center. Now we're going to drop the right ear to the right shoulder. Take the right middle finger. I say middle finger because you really don't need to pull forcefully in this direction. You just need a fingertip to apply some pressure to the head. Go ahead and send that left arm back behind you. Staying nice and aware of our breath here. Big deep breath in. Exhale all that air out. And slowly release the head. Create some movement, whatever feels best to your neck. Turning right and left. Yes and no. We're going to move to all fours. So come up on all fours. If it bothers you to be on your knees, roll your mat in maybe a couple rolls just to give you a little bit more cushion. And you can place your knees on it like such. Or you can take your towel, for instance, if you're not on a mat, and you can create some extra padding there. I don't want you to be uncomfortable in any position that we start today. We're going to take a couple cat-cows to warm up through our spine. Place the top of your feet flat against the mat. Your knees are directly beneath your hips. Place your wrist directly beneath your shoulders. You're going to arch through the back, lift through the chin, pull the shoulders away from your ears into cow pose. And then you're going to inhale up, rounding through the back, creating cat pose. I want you to move through these at your own breath. Taking an inhale and an exhale, just creating some movement there in the spine. We're going to do one more each pose. When you're through, I want you to rock through your hips. Rocking right and left, you can take little hip circles back and forth. I'm going to turn at an angle. We are going to get a nice forearm stretch as well as a wrist stretch. We're going to place the fingertips facing your thighs on both hands. And you're going to stay right here on all fours. If this is a strenuous stretch, so I always say on a scale of 1 to 8, if you're past a 7 or an 8, you need to stay there or back off a little. If you're not that deep in your stretch, I want you to slowly lower your hips back behind you. So I started here, directly over my wrist, and I slowly push my hips back, just to where I'm getting that nice stretch all the way up the arm and through the wrist. If you have any pinching sensation or any numbness or tingling, you would stop doing this stretch right away and maybe stick with just doing some wrist circles. We're going to go back one more time and hold for a nice deep breath right here. Exhale all the way out. Come back on top of those wrists. Sit back on your heels and kind of create some movement. Circle in both directions. Now, we're going to do the other direction, but we're going to place our wrists back by our thighs. So if you notice, I'm having to round my back just slightly. You don't have to do that. I'm doing it because it feels good. We're going to lean forward over our hands now. This one, most people have a lot less movement here, so don't overdo it. Keep your palms down, push your shoulders forward. Good job. And hold 2 breaths right here. One more breath. And release slowly. Go right into those hand circles. So if you've come to my class in the physical form, we sometimes mimic this stretch on the wall where we place our palm on the wall and then we straighten the arm and open our body away from it. I also encourage that stretch as well. Just any stretch to get you up away from your desk or away from your laptop at home, you're going to see some great benefits there. Staying on our knees, I'm going to face the camera or angle myself at the camera. You're going to take your right heel and place it out to the side or directly in front of you. So whatever's best, I just want you to be able to mimic this hip movement that I'm going to use to create this stretch. Here's where you might want to use your towel. If you know that you can't reach your toes in this position, set up with your towel or your belt. If you're using a towel or belt, you're going to place it around the foot, the ball of the foot. Walk your hands down the belt to where you feel a nice tight stretch. We're driving our chest forward. We're not collapsing here. So driving the chest forward to create a good pelvic positioning for our hamstring stretch. If you're holding onto a belt or towel, we're going to take one more deep breath, and you're going to take the belt or the towel in the left hand only and place your right hand down on the floor. If you're not using a belt or towel, you would just grab to the outside of your right foot with your left hand. So now we're getting a nice back stretch on this left side while we stretch through the right hamstring. One more breath here. And release. Roll it up. Let's kind of bend that leg, create some movement in that same leg, which would be your right leg that we just stretched. If your knees are uncomfortable, remember you always have the option to give yourself some padding by rolling up your mat. Send your left foot out for me. Straight leg. I want you to send your hips slightly back. If you're using the belt, prepare, or the towel, go ahead and set it up for your stretch. we're just going to walk down that belt or your towel or grab that left foot. Keeping your chest up. Notice my hips are back. So I'm not just here forward and going forward. My hips are driving back and I'm leaning forward and grabbing my foot or the belt or the towel. I'm pulling in my abdominals to create a good support for my spine. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. So even if you're holding onto that belt, don't get tense. Allow those shoulders to fall from the ears for me. Now, if you're grabbing the belt, you're going to take the right hand only and grab the belt over to that left side. If you're grabbing your toes, you're going to place your right hand on your toes. Left hand goes out to the side of your left leg. Still driving our chest up. I can feel this in the middle to low back as well. I can also feel it in my shoulder blades and my right arm, my right side. Take breath in and release. Sit up nice and tall. Bend through that knee. Create some movement and blood flow back into that muscle group. All right. We're going to use our towel. Let's get off our knees first. Go ahead and have a seat on your bottom. I'm going to have you stack your right ankle over your left thigh so we can kind of get a two stretcher here. So we're going to let our hips stretch on that right side as we set up for our wingspan stretch with our belt or towel. You're going to take the belt and you're going to hold it back behind you. Notice my right elbow is close to my right ear. Then you're going to walk your left hand, let me turn, and you're going to walk your hands together. Are close to one another. Good grief, I'm tight. I didn't know I was that tight till I came in with this stretch. There you go. Sit up nice and tall. Pulling that arm back behind your head. Oh, no, I can't. Just like, okay. There we go. Now, for some of you, this may not be much of a stretch. I want you to hinge forward, holding those arms just the way they are. So we're getting a left shoulder stretch, anterior stretch on that left side. You're getting a tricep and a lat stretch in your right side. Hinging forward draws that glute, even activates that stretch in that right glute even more. As well, take one deep breath here. Exhale, let it out. See if you can fall a little forward. And release. Set up nice and tall. Take your hands back behind you. Uncross your legs. Create some wiggle room in those legs, whether you need to shake those legs out. Roll through those shoulders. And let's set up for the left side. Left foot goes over that right thigh. Belt or towel. I'm going to use the towel today and see what that feels like. Ooh, this big towel is much harder to deal with. You're going to put that towel behind you. Send that left elbow up against your head. And then walk your hands towards each other. Trying to minimize that space between both hands. Sit up nice and tall. For maybe 1 or 2 breaths here. And when you're ready, you hinge forward. You have 2 more breaths here, so enjoy it. Let's take some nice deep ones. Last one. And sit up, release those arms, uncross the legs, wiggle those legs out, hands go back behind. Go ahead and take a little chest opener. So my hands are back behind me. My fingertips are facing away. Lift through that chest. Pull the shoulders down, creating some space there within the chest. And release. We're going to move into a hip flexor stretch. I suggest giving yourself a little more padding for your right knee because I'm wanting to take it into a deeper quad stretch. So I'm going to put some pressure on that knee. I'm going to place my right knee on the mat and I'm going to drive forwards, dropping that right leg towards the floor. So if you're back here, you're getting a limited stretch on that hip flexor. I want you to lean forward. Most of that weight should be in that left foot. We've taking a lot of pressure off the right knee. We're going to sit right here for 2 breaths. One more. Now send the right hand either down on a block, I've got a book here, or to the floor, and slowly begin to open up that twist to the left. So now we're opening our twist to the left leg. Our right leg's behind us, our left arm is in the air. If you would like to take more of a chest opener, you can take this left hand, place it around your waist, and open up that chest even further. Let's all take one more breath here, and then walk back up on that knee. So I'm going to have you watch me for this stretch. Some of you will want to use your belt or towel. If you're going to use your belt or towel, you'll want to place it and get it set up before you get into the stretch. The towel will basically go underneath that back leg, underneath the back shin. For those of you that have done my class, you know what's coming. We're going to go forward and pull that leg up. If you do not need the towel, you're going to reach back, grab that right foot, and lean forward. Keeping that chest up. So this is a pretty intense quad stretch. Make sure you do not go past your limit on this stretch. You should still be able to breathe comfortably. Feels so good. I feel that all the way from the top of my knee all the way up to my hip. One more breath here. Go ahead and release that leg down and let's switch. Right leg is going forward. We will start leaning into that stretch. Nice lean. Chest is up. Good. Place that left hand on your block on the floor or take it all the way down. Twisting to the front leg, which would be your right knee, and open that right arm up. Notice how my dog isn't even moving. I wonder if it's the TV. Well, who am I kidding? She sleeps all day anyway. Go ahead and take that arm behind you for a deeper chest opener if you feel comfortable doing so. Pull that right elbow back behind you, shining your chest brightly to the sky. And release. Go ahead and walk yourself up. Get yourself set up for your quad stretch by placing your belt or your towel underneath the shin if you're using a towel. And then pull that leg up while we lean forward. If you do not need to use a towel, you'll reach back, grab your foot, and set yourself up for a stretch without having to use that. You can always have your block here on the right side or your big book. We have one more breath. Go ahead and release that foot down. Come back. Unfold your mat if you need to. You have it folded up like mine. We are going to come down to our tummies. So go ahead and come down to your tummies. Place your forearms on the mat. It's a little bit dark this way. I should turn around. I'm going to turn around so maybe you can see me better. Window shining light in over here. Maybe, maybe not. It's a little better. So I'm on my forearms. I've turned my bottom off. My feet are completely relaxed. I'm going to lift my chest up and elongate my neck. So this is like a baby cobra. If you know that you can handle the spinal compression of doing seal pose, you can feel free to go on up and press into seal pose. For some of us, that may not be the most comfortable position on our spines. The next pose that we're going to do, you're going to have your arms flat out in the T position, and you're going to open up that left leg back behind you while keeping your palms on the floor. You can always add a little bit more of a bind and take that left hand back behind you, opening up the chest even a little bit more. Your choice. If you keep the hand down, that's perfectly okay. You should feel a nice stretch through the front of that right shoulder because we're twisting and taking our left leg back. One more breath here. Come back through the center. And now we will go to the other side. So start with T arms. Palms are down. You can always flip your palms up if that feels best at the shoulder joint. I like to, on this side, it feels best to my shoulder joint to flip my palm up. Now we're going to take the right leg, bring him back behind the left. And again, your choices are to stay with the palms down or bring that right arm back behind you, opening up that chest. So when you bring the right arm back behind you, it actually intensifies the stretch on the front of that left shoulder. Big deep breath in. Exhale and come back through to the center. We're going to take our heels and kick them one at a time up towards our rear end. Just to loosen up that back. And then windshield wiper the heels side to side. Both feet are up together here. All right, place the palms, hands against the rib cage. Take your knees out wide towards the mat. Bring your heels together. And we're going to push back into child's pose. Taking 2 breaths here. Go ahead and slowly walk those hands in under the shoulders. We're going to be on our knees, but we're going to set up for frogger pose. I encourage you, if you've not done this stretch or if you find this stretch in high intensity, then you want to make sure you've got a towel or your blocks in front of you for support. I want you to turn your feet, toes outward. Knees are apart. I'm going to move my stuff. And we're going to drop down to our forearms. Now, if you've noticed, when you come down to your forearms, your hips have the idea that they want to move forward. I want you to drive them back. So drive those knees or hips back, getting to where you feel a little bit of pressure at the hips. You should not have any pain in your hips, just some pressure. Inner thighs should be stretching as well here. Again, if it's too much to come all the way to the floor, you could stay up here on the palms or on the hands and drive the hips back. For some of you that I know have come to my class, you can go ahead and take your arms all the way out and set your head and chest down in this position. If you have to come out of this pose for any reason, you will push forward and fall to your tummy on the floor. That's how you'll come out of it. We have 2 more breaths here. forearms if you were flat on the floor, and then fall to that tummy, shaking out those legs. Good job. All right, roll on over to your back. We have 2 more stretches. One is our final stretch. One is our glute stretch. Hi, Mouse. How are you? This is my little bug. All right. You're going to bring the right ankle over the left thigh, and you're going to pull that left leg towards your chest. Now, if you already know that you're going to end up in pretzel, then I want you to pretzel. To pretzel, you're just going to further cross that right leg over the left, grab the right ankle, grab the left ankle, and pull both knees towards the chest. Relax the shoulders to the mat. Go ahead and release your stretch. Feet come to your mat. Windshield wiper the knees right and left. Loosening up that back. Sometimes the back's not very appreciative of us stretching it, especially if he's really tight. Cross the left ankle over the right thigh for me, and then drive that right knee up so this right leg is active. I like to grab onto the outside of my thigh and pull in. So this is starting position. Take 1 breath here, and if you can move into pretzel, you'll move on into pretzel because that's a deeper stretch, and it's a more desired stretch. Bring those knees towards the chest. Good. One more deep breath in. Blow it all out. Uncross those legs. Again, windshield wiper. We're going to drop our knees, both of them, to the left. You can stay right here with the legs stacked, or feel free to take that top leg, which would be your top right, straighten it to a soft knee, and then take the left hand and apply some pressure on that hip or thigh, wherever you can reach to. Look over that right arm, and with each breath, I want you to just allow that right shoulder to sink towards the mat. This is a nice back stretch, as well as a chest opener, if you can breathe through and let that right shoulder sink to the floor. Slowly bring 1 knee at a time back through the center. Drop both over towards the right and set up that stretch. If you want to stay with the knees stacked, stay with the knees stacked. If not, lengthen out that left leg. Place your right hand on that left hip and look over that left shoulder. And with each breath, allow that left shoulder to fall to the floor. One more breath here. Slowly bring those knees back to center. Give me a couple windshield wipers. And we're going to set up for just a couple minutes here of Shavasana to finish out our stretch class. I know you all miss the little massage that you get in my class at the end. I miss giving it. We're going to straighten our legs and end up in corpse pose. Some may feel more comfortable with their knees bent, feet together. You choose your stretch or your final resting place. If you have a towel, place it over your eyes. I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes. And I just want us to take this time, close our eyes down, and I want us to tummy breathe. So I want you to, as you inhale, push that stomach, see that stomach raise up. And then as you exhale, see that stomach go down. On your own timing, I want you to begin to hold your breath at the top for 2 seconds. And then I just want you to sigh it all the way out after that 2 seconds. And just be aware of how breathing deeply instantly relaxes you. I want you to take the time throughout the day to incorporate some of these breathing strategies into your day. On your next breath, I want you to hold at the top, and then I want you to suck another little breath of air in, and then let it all the way out. For our final minute, I just want you to focus or go back to that gentle breathing, keeping your eyes shut down, keeping your mind clear of any thoughts. If there's a positive word you would like to think about, or a quote, or a goal, place it on that board in your mind and just focus on that goal. Begin to move your fingertips, moving your toes. Let's slowly come to our side into a fetal position. And when you're ready, come all the way up to our seated position. Sitting up nice and tall, hands beside the body. Let's inhale those arms up. Bring the hands together, lower them to heart center. We have so much to be thankful for. I'm thankful that you showed up and took this class today and took time out for yourself. Have a blessed day. Thank you.